Let's review the recent Piers Morgan interview with Naftali Bennett, the former Israeli Prime Minister, which has many interesting facts to discuss. Stay with us.
And Ben-Gvir said Trump's agreement does not bind us. Israel is not subject to the United States, and we are an independent and sovereign nation. Our duty is to the citizens of Israel, to the soldiers of the IDF, and to the Jewish people, and our historical duty to the persecuted and murdered Jews over thousands of years of exile, to provide security to Jews in the land of Israel. So some very strong words coming out of two of the more hard-right members of the Israeli government, but pretty clear messaging as a reaction to this impending deal that it doesn't involve Israel as far as they're concerned, and Israel should be free to continue exactly what it sees fit, including prosecuting the war against Iran and against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Is that your assessment?
Well, surely every country has a right to self-defense, and so does Israel. I mean, if you were attacked now by some terror organization, you'd fight back. So will we, if necessary. We don't want war. For us, it's very personal. My son is in the war. Many families have their children in the war, and we hate war. But we are being attacked, so obviously we have to defend ourselves.
So does Iran also have a right to self-defense? What about Syria? What about Yemen, Qatar, Palestine, Lebanon? Or this self-defense right is only reserved for Israel and the United States, or NATO members and the Western world? I mean, it's hypocrisy. He is opposing their own policy of invading other countries by saying that every country has a right to self-defense. The Israeli authorities talk in a manner as if they are defending against aggressions, but it's not like that. I mean, Israel is not a normal country. Israel has been invading their neighbors all over the region for decades, not only for 2 years, but for decades. And every country in the region is defending against their aggression.
Right, but Donald Trump has made it crystal clear he wants this deal. He wants it done. He wants it signed off on Friday. Many people, including many supporters of Trump on the Republican side in America, are very unhappy about the speed that this is happening because they do not believe there are enough commitments in there from the Iranians which basically take this deal any further than the Obama deal of many years ago, which of course Trump tore up in his first term. Are you concerned as a former Prime Minister of Israel, and maybe perhaps the next Prime Minister of Israel, are you concerned that America, for political and economic reasons, may be hurtling towards a deal which is a very flawed deal?
Well, we're going to have to see the final deal because this is a pause. This is certainly not the end deal. And President Trump...
First of all, I must mention that the problem with Israel is not only with the prime ministers or with Benjamin Netanyahu. The problem is in the society. Recently, 2 Israeli institutions had 2 polls, and both of them showed that more than 90% of the Jewish Israelis are supporting these wars against Iran and Lebanon. So it shows us that the prime ministers, whoever they are, they have no other choice but to wage wars, endless wars, because their society is backing those wars. So the United States, for the same reason, is not willing to wage more wars in the region. Why? Because in Israel, the government has the support of the people for these wars, but in the United States, it's exactly on the contrary. I mean, Donald Trump has said it publicly a few times that the American public opinion does not want this war, but if the American public opinion was supporting him, he would have liked also to invade Iran and to occupy some of its regions.
Has been very clear that he's going to dismantle the nuclear program so Iran can never acquire a nuclear weapon. The details matter. I believe that America still retains tremendous leverage, but the jury's out. We'll see in a period of 60 days that we need to achieve the objectives of taking away the nuclear uranium stockpile, ensuring that Iran can't build a shield of immunity with thousands or tens of thousands of ballistic missiles, and taking apart the terror network. This is still achievable, so we support any effort to achieve these three objectives.
So as I said, the United States and President Trump doesn't have any other choice but to stop the war for now and find some kind of, a middle ground with Iran and sign some kind of MOU. But as I said before in other episodes, what I know and what I see is that the United States will return to the battlefield, not now, but maybe after the midterm elections. And the fact is that recently Benjamin Netanyahu claimed that the people in this region must get used to endless wars and we must be able to live under these wars. I mean, when you look at the Israeli society that are, majority of them are backing these wars, and you look at those people like Naftali Bennett or Benjamin Netanyahu, and you see that they are also saying that these wars will go on for years to come, then you can understand who is the warmonger here in this region and who is seeking peace. And also I must add to that, Naftali Bennett is saying Iran must not have missiles too. I mean, that's really, really shocking for me that they have been attacking Iran 2 times in less than a year, and the only means of defense that Iran has had against them, which made them to back off 2 times, was missiles. And now he's saying publicly that Iran must not have missiles too. I mean, so the problem is not about nuclear weapons, as they claim. It's about missiles. And what has the United States or Israel done to the nations and countries that have put down their arms? I mean, look at Libya, look at Syria. What happens then? Freedom for them? I don't think so.
But if those objectives are not met, and most people looking at this are highly skeptical that they will be met, they think the Iranians have a lot of leverage. They realize there's a ticking clock to the American midterm elections in November. There's a lot of pressure on President Trump to get out of this war, and they can just play the long game. And if they string it out over the 60 days, and then at the end of it, they do what the Iranian regime has always done, which is just obfuscate, lie, dissemble, and try and string things out even longer. It's very hard to see what happens then. I mean, do the Americans then re-engage in the war, or would the Israelis in that eventuality go on their own and attack Iran again on their own?
Look, for many years I've been a proponent of what I call the octopus doctrine, where Iran is an octopus of terror. And
First of all, I just remember that J.D. Vance a few days ago said that most of the Israeli authorities are trying to destroy Iran and make Iran another Libya. So it shows us if Iran puts their arms down, what happens then? I mean, I am not claiming this. J.D. Vance is saying it publicly. And secondly, Piers Morgan now is trying to show everything upside down. He is talking in a way as if the Israel and the United States have a right to attack Iran whenever they want. I mean, 2 nuclear power countries have a right to attack another country by an excuse of a false excuse that that country has nuclear weapons, which it doesn't have, and they can attack them twice in less than a year and maybe another time in a few months. I mean, I don't really understand it. Who has given them this right?
It sends its tentacles across the Middle East, and we should be focused on Iran and not bleed ourselves to death just fighting its tentacles. I would say that Iran is very similar to the Soviet Union of the 80s. It's a very disconnected, corrupt, incompetent regime that doesn't care about its own people, and it's destined to collapse. But the timing matters. When will it collapse? Maybe it'll take 2 years, maybe it'll take 15 years. But we, the Western world, can accelerate the demise of this horrible regime and free its people. But we need to act in that sense, not necessarily only war, but other means. For example, we know that every few years there's a wave of protest, and we know the Iranian regime turns off the internet. So what if we put in place, say, 30 or 50,000 Starlink receivers so they can turn on the internet next time and achieve the protest? So there's a lot of work, clandestine, secret, covert, overt, many things that we can do to accelerate the ultimate collapse of this really bad regime. War is one of the tools, but there's many other tools. That's why this deal matters so much, and why we have hold high hopes that President Trump will be strong and see it through.
Wow. He is claiming that the Israelis and the United States have a right to invade Iran anytime they want, and also to manipulate the Iranian protests. He is saying publicly that they have a right to send Mossad agents to Iran to send guns and ammunition and to try to start a domestic war inside the biggest country in the Middle East. I mean, even if you are against the current political structure of the Iranian government, who gives you the right to ask two nuclear-powered countries with a very bad record in this field to come and wage wars against your country? I mean, to hit girls' schools, to hit hospitals, to hit universities, and to put harsh sanctions against ordinary Iranian people, to threat you with destroying your civilization. I mean, who has given this right to them and to those Iranians which are asking them to do so? I mean, even if you're against the regime, have these measures brought you, I mean, freedom and better life inside Iran, or more misery to your country and to your people? I mean, he is saying publicly that this thing might go on for another 15 years. It means more misery for the Iranian people and for the whole region. Who is warmonger here? And who is peace-seeking?
President Trump said in March 2026 on his Truth Social platform, there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. We're a long way from that, aren't we, Naftali Bennett? I mean, if at the end of all this, Iran, the regime stays in place, the killed Ayatollah's son, who's more radical, now replaces his father, as has been the case. The people don't uprise, as there's been no sign of them doing at all throughout this entire war so far. And the Iranians maintain control of the Strait of Hormuz, and the awareness that should they close it, they can cause enormous damage at will, as we've seen economically. And they can also, if they want to, attack their neighboring Gulf states whenever they feel like it, and know that that too causes enormous damage, both in the practicality of firing missiles, but also economically to the business models of those Gulf states. You know, it looks, to quote a phrase that we heard in the White House when Donald Trump was attacking President Zelensky of Ukraine, it looks to many people like Iran holds a lot of cards here.
Well, what you've just described is that Iran is a big, violent bully, and
So if a country becomes target of an unprovoked war, an illegal war by two nuclear-powered countries, and if the bases and lands of the neighboring countries are used to launch attacks against that country must stay silent. I mean, in the end of this, in the beginning of this conversation, Naftali Bennett said every country has a right to self-defense. I mean, did he forget what he said just 5 minutes ago? I mean, the neighboring countries are attacking Iran, Arab countries. Their land and their bases are used for attacks against Iran. What should Iran do? I mean, if America and Israel face the same problem, what would they do? Stay silent and accept it? I mean, I don't really understand. Or it's a double standard. It's only for the Western countries.
It proves all the more so that we have to ensure that it doesn't acquire a nuclear weapon, ensure that it can't terrorize the world, because we've seen a demonstration of what this bully looks like when it uses conventional weapons. So now imagine what it would look like if it acquires nuclear weapons. So if anything, we've all seen the true Iran. I also want to tell you that...
It's crystal clear, as John Mensheimer puts it, that if Iran has had atomic bomb, the wars would have ended in the region years ago. Why? Because Israel is still trying to destroy Iran, to destroy the main opponent in the region that they have, so that they could, build that bigger, greater Israel that they planned for. And they are still hoping for it because Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. If Iran has had a nuclear weapon, the Israelis would sit in their place and try to find another way to survive in this region.
I believe that soon in Israel, there'll be a new government. Hopefully, I'll lead that new government. And I want to tell the Iranian regime from here, the regime, I'm going to be your worst nightmare ever. I won't relent until we free your people, ensure you don't have a nuclear weapon. So you've got no hope. We won't let up on this effort because it's fighting for our freedom, for our security, and for the benefit of the entire Middle East.
So as I said before, as a result of those polls, we know that more than 90% of Jewish Israelis are supporting these wars against Iran, Lebanon, and all over the region. So whoever becomes the next prime minister, it doesn't matter. There will be no change in warmongering policies of Israel. And he is saying it publicly right now. And he's talking about freedom of people. When did they free people? What people? Where? Is threatening to destroy a civilization called freedom for them, or hitting bridges and hospitals and water desalinations is freedom for them, or sending guns and ammunition to the protesters in another country and trying to manipulate internal affairs of a country is called freedom for them? I don't really understand. When J.D. Vance is saying publicly that the Israelis are trying to make another Libya in Iran, is it called freedom? I don't really understand them. What do you think? Are they just playing with reality or not? I'll be glad to know your comments. Thank you so much.